People keep saying, I'm weak. No, you're not. You're not weak. You're untrained. You're underrepped. You're a mind with potential sitting on the bench watching other people play the game you were built for. You're not broken. You're just waiting to step onto the court. Weakness isn't your identity. It's just a stage. And the second you decide to step up and push past the line your brain drew for you, everything changes. Mental toughness isn't a birthright. Nobody's born unshakable. It's not a gift from the universe. It's not a gene passed down. It's a build, a practice, a construction site where you lay bricks daily until the foundation becomes unbreakable. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It's not a highlight reel. It's quiet. It's repetitive. It's dangerously consistent. And here's the brutal truth. The world doesn't care how much potential you think you have. The world pays attention to what you can endure. David Goggins says most people quit at 40%. Sit with that for a second. When your body aches, when your lungs burn, when your mind is screaming done, you've still got more than half the tank left. Half your strength, half your grit, half your potential untouched. So when you say, I'm weak, what you really mean is, I've never pushed past the noise. That's all weakness is. Quitting at the noise instead of discovering the silence that waits on the other side. And today, this isn't about hype. This isn't about a motivational sugar high that fades tomorrow. This is about construction, about pouring the concrete, about building a mind that doesn't crumble under pressure but sharpens like a blade every time life swings at it. So ask yourself right now, do you want to keep calling yourself weak, or do you want to build the toughness that makes weakness impossible to identify with? Because starting today, brick by brick, rep by rep, choice by choice, that's exactly what we're going to do. Everybody wants to win. Everybody says they want success, the body, the money, the freedom, the recognition. But almost no one is willing to endure the grind that true achievement demands. They show up once, feel good about themselves for a day, and then vanish. They make one post, get a couple of likes, and convince themselves they're on the path, until the dopamine fades and the reality of work sets in. They train for a week, maybe two, and the soreness becomes an excuse. The results feel too slow, and they quietly disappear back into comfort. But success doesn't reward effort. It rewards consistency. It doesn't care about your potential, your promises, or how loud you talk on day one. It cares about who's still standing on day 100, on day 1,000. Who's still grinding when the hype has died, when nobody's clapping, when no spotlight is shining? Who's still locked in when the feeling of motivation has completely evaporated and all that's left is raw discipline? You don't need extraordinary talent. You don't need perfect timing. What you need is resilience, the kind that drags you out of bed when the alarm feels heavier than a mountain. The kind that keeps your head down when distractions scream louder than your goals. The kind that shows up day after day, hour after hour, in silence, in discomfort, unseen and uncelebrated. Because that's the soil greatness grows from, not the highlight moments, not the victory laps, but the invisible grind, brick by brick, rep by rep, choice by choice. Each small action stacking, each sacrifice compounding, until one day the world calls you unstoppable, when in reality, you were just consistent. While others chase shortcuts, you're stacking wins. While they burn out, you're still in the fight. And in the end, it's not the most talented who win. It's the most consistent. The ones who show up every damn day, no matter what. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not fireworks. It's not applause. It's the alarm clock at 5 a.m. It's lacing up your shoes when your body begs for another hour of sleep. It's showing up at the gym when no one's there to pat you on the back. It's staying late with your craft, your studies, your business, when no one even knows you're grinding. Consistency is lonely. Consistency is quiet, but it's also lethal. Because every day you show up, you're compounding progress. Tiny, invisible gains that no one sees in the moment, but stack them day after day, year after year. And suddenly, you've built something they can't ignore. It's choosing the grind over the couch. It's picking the hard truth over the easy lie. It's making the decision again and again that your goals matter more than your excuses. Discipline is your weapon. Sharp, precise, ruthless. Grit is your armor. Heavy, unshakable, tested in fire. And consistency? That's your identity. You don't dabble in discipline, you live it. You don't wish for success, you construct it. You don't hope it happens, you plan it. And you back that plan up with savage, relentless action. Others are waiting for the right time, the perfect opportunity, the sign that now is when they should begin. But you already started. And because you started, because you stayed, because you refused to quit, you've become unstoppable. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you've changed. They'll laugh when you decline the invite, when you leave early, when you choose your vision over their comfort. They'll say you're missing out, that you're too serious, that life is meant to be enjoyed. But deep down, you know the truth. They only say those things because your discipline makes them uncomfortable. Your focus exposes their distractions. Your effort highlights their excuses. Let them laugh. While they're laughing, you're building. While they're resting, you're rising. While they wait for the perfect moment, you're creating it with your own two hands. Every decision you make is separating you further from the crowd. Every sacrifice is pushing you closer to the life they'll only dream of. This is the code. You don't quit. You don't disappear. You don't fold under pressure. You build momentum when nobody's watching, because momentum is the silent force that separates the average from the unstoppable. Momentum doesn't need applause. Momentum doesn't ask for permission. It grows quietly in the dark, stacking day by day until it becomes undeniable. And one day, when the results show, when the respect comes, when your name carries weight, you won't be shocked. You won't feel like it came out of nowhere. You'll remember the lonely reps, the endless sacrifices, the alarms you answered when everyone else was still asleep. You'll remember the nights you traded comfort for discipline, pleasure for purpose. You'll remember that every ounce of success was earned, not because it was easy, but because you refused to stop. Stay in the fight. Stay cold. Stay consistent. Because in the end, the world doesn't respect the ones who start. It respects the ones who finish. It respects the ones who endured the silence, who carried the burden, who didn't let weakness dictate their story. The finishers, the warriors, the few who prove that discipline beats talent, that consistency outlasts hype, and that grit is the currency of greatness. Mental toughness isn't tested on the calm days. It's revealed in the storm. Everybody looks disciplined when life is smooth, when the paycheck is steady, when the body feels strong, when the environment is comfortable. It's easy to talk about discipline when the sun is shining. But the moment the storm hits, when your finances shake, when your relationships strain, when your body aches, when uncertainty presses down, that's when identity steps in. That's when we find out who you really are. Weakness folds. Toughness adjusts. Weakness seeks the exit sign. Toughness searches for the next step forward. Weakness complains about the storm. Toughness learns how to sail in it. And every single storm is a test, an invitation to prove to yourself that you are more than your circumstances. There's a Navy SEAL saying, "Under pressure, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training." Let that sink in. You don't suddenly become a warrior when life presses down. You reveal the warrior or the quitter you've been rehearsing in silence. Your response in the storm isn't random, it's nothing new. It's simply the muscle memory of your habits, the repetition of every choice you've made when nobody was watching. Think about the last storm you faced. Maybe it was losing someone you love. Maybe it was financial stress. Maybe a betrayal. Maybe failing at something you gave your all to. Ask yourself, what was your first response? Did you run? Did you freeze? Did you complain? Or did you move? Forward? Even if only an inch? Don't judge yourself harshly. Just observe it, because that was your training. That was your baseline. And the beauty? Training never ends. You get to retrain today. Every rep of discipline you put in now becomes the instinct you'll lean on later. The hardest part of toughness isn't the grind itself, it's the isolation. It's not just lifting weights or pushing through fatigue. It's the moments of saying no when everyone else is saying yes. It's leaving the party early to protect your sleep. It's cooking your own food when everyone else is ordering fast food. It's journaling when others are scrolling. It's choosing growth over comfort, knowing full well that most people won't understand. The mentally weak chase approval. They need validation like oxygen. They adjust their standards so the crowd will clap. But the mentally tough, they chase standards, not applause. They're not looking for the crowd to approve because they know the crowd is fickle. They know the crowd applauds today and forgets tomorrow. The mentally tough create their own scoreboard and live by it. And here's the paradox. The very moment you stop needing their applause is when you start earning their respect. At first, they'll laugh. They'll call you obsessed. They'll whisper that you've changed. But over time, your consistency becomes undeniable. It terrifies the average. It exposes what they're avoiding. Because every time you show up, you're holding up a mirror to their excuses. So if you've been hiding your goals to fit in, if you've been watering down your vision so others don't feel insecure, ask yourself the real question: do I want to blend in or do I want to break through? One path earns claps. The other path earns respect. One fades the moment the party ends. The other echoes for years because people can't ignore the man or woman who stayed when it was hard. And when overwhelm crushes you, shrink the frame. Don't look at the whole staircase, it'll paralyze you. Don't stare at the mountain, it'll break you before you take the first step. Instead, ask yourself, what's the next good step? Then take it, just one. That's how marathoners finish 26 miles, step after step, even when their body begs them to stop. That's how authors finish books, sentence after sentence, even when inspiration dies. That's how warriors build legacies, choice after choice, even when nobody is watching. Mental toughness isn't about predicting the future. It's about controlling the next move, not everything, just the next thing. Because when you chain together enough next things, you suddenly look back and realize you've done the impossible. And here's the secret. You don't build toughness by chasing comfort. You build it by designing controlled discomfort, cold showers, fasting, early mornings, extra sets, difficult conversations. Every time you walk into controlled discomfort, you're training yourself for chaos. You're saying, I've already suffered on my terms, so when life throws me storms, I'm not shocked, I'm ready. You're not punishing yourself. You're teaching your brain, we can do hard things, and we can survive. And that survival rewires you. It expands what you believe you're capable of. So pick one. End your next shower cold for 60 seconds. Leave your phone in another room for an hour. Add 10 minutes of focused work past the point you want to quit. Do this daily. Watch how fast your weakness turns into resilience. Watch how fast your brain shifts from I can't to I just did. Here's the truth. Mentally tough people get tired too. They get overwhelmed, they doubt, they feel fear. But the difference? They don't let those feelings dictate the outcome. They reset instead of quitting. Toughness doesn't mean pushing 24/7 until you collapse. It doesn't mean burning out just to look hardcore. Real toughness means knowing the difference between rest and surrender. Rest is fuel. Quit is poison. Rest looks at the mission and says, pause, then continue. Quit looks at the mission and says, it's impossible. Rest sharpens the blade. Quit throws it away. Rest says, I'll come back stronger. Quit says, I was never strong enough. And that's the fork in the road every single person faces. Which one do you take? Do this daily. Watch how fast your weakness turns into resilience. Watch how fast the stories you used to tell yourself, I can't handle this. I'm not built for this. It's too much, dissolve into dust. Because resilience is not something you're born with. It's built, brick by brick, habit by habit, choice by choice. Here's the truth. Mentally tough people get tired too. They get drained. They doubt themselves. They feel the weight of the world pressing down on their shoulders. Don't believe the lie that toughness means being unbreakable. No, toughness means being bendable without breaking. It means you hit the wall, you stumble, you collapse for a moment, but you reset instead of quitting. Toughness doesn't mean pushing 24/7 until you burn out. It's not about grinding yourself into the ground until you hate the very thing you once loved. Real toughness is smarter than that. It knows when to push, and it knows when to pause, because even the sharpest blade needs time on the stone. Even the strongest warrior needs time in the tent. It means knowing the difference between rest and surrender. And that difference is everything. Rest is strategic. Quit is emotional. Rest says, I'm gathering strength. Quit says, I'm giving up. Rest looks at the mission and says, pause, then continue. Quit looks at the mission and says, it's impossible. Rest honors the work you've already put in. Quit throws it all away. Rest looks like self-control. Quit looks like escape. Big difference. Massive difference. The line is thin, but the consequences are worlds apart. So ask yourself, right now, am I resting or am I quitting? That one question could save your dream. If it's rest, good. Recharge and return sharper. Breathe, recover, and come back with your sword ready. But if it's quitting, if deep down you know you've dropped the mission, then don't lie to yourself. Call it out. Stand up. Take one small step forward, convert that quit into a pause. Transform I gave up into I'm getting ready. Because the moment you take that one step, you've already crossed back over to the path. You've already proven to yourself you're still in the fight. And that's the difference, not between winners and losers, but between people who build legacies and people who vanish. You want a template for toughness? Here's one. Morning. One win. It could be a cold shower, a workout, a page in your journal, 10 minutes of reading. Doesn't matter which, as long as it's a win. Win early, and your brain starts the day knowing you're in control. Before the world even touches you, you've already struck first. Midday. One deep block. 30 to 90 minutes of undistracted work. No phone, no scrolling, no background noise pulling you away. This is where real progress happens. This is where books get written, muscles get built, businesses get started, and ideas turn into reality. If you can guard just one deep block a day, you'll outrun 90% of people who never give themselves that space. Evening. One review. Sit down for 5 minutes. Ask yourself, what went well today? Where did I slip? What needs sharpening tomorrow? That small reflection is like adjusting your aim before the next arrow. Over time, it compounds into a life that moves with precision, not chaos. That's it. 3 anchors: morning win, midday block, evening review. Repeat daily. It looks simple because it is. Don't confuse flashy with effective. People waste years chasing secret hacks, waiting for motivation, or hunting for some perfect plan. But toughness is built in the boring repeatables, the things no one else wants to do, done so often they carve a new identity into you. And that's the point. Mental toughness doesn't just win you goals. It changes who you are. You stop calling yourself weak. You start calling yourself someone who endures. The language you use about yourself shifts from I can't to I can and I will. That shift alone is life-altering. You stop fearing failure. You start using failure as feedback. Instead of, I'm not cut out for this, it becomes, that didn't work, what's the adjustment? Suddenly, nothing is final except quitting. You stop waiting for permission. You stop asking, do you think I should? And start saying, I've already started. Momentum becomes self-made. And with every small move, you create a storm of progress that no one can deny. And that identity shift bleeds into everything, into your fitness. You no longer drag yourself to the gym, you are someone who trains. Into your career. You no longer hope to get better, you are someone who produces. Into your relationships. You no longer show up half-hearted. You are someone who gives fully and consistently. Into your self-respect, because every promise you keep to yourself is another brick in the fortress of your confidence. That's the hidden prize of toughness. It's not the medal, not the paycheck, not the applause. It's that you finally start to believe in yourself at a level that can't be shaken. Say this again with me, out loud if you can. Don't just think it, declare it. I am not weak, I am undertrained. I am not done, I am becoming. I am not quitting, I am building. Repeat it until your brain starts to believe it, until the voice of doubt gets drowned out by the voice of identity, because words matter. The language you use about yourself becomes the story you live. If you call yourself weak, your actions will follow. But when you declare you're building, your actions rise to meet that claim. Weakness was never your truth. It was just your starting line. You don't get to call yourself weak just because you're at mile 1 of a marathon. You don't get to label yourself finished when you've barely taken the first step. Mental toughness isn't a gift someone else hands you. It's a grind you commit to, one decision at a time. And here's the beautiful thing. Every rep of discomfort is a deposit into that toughness account. Every decision you keep when no one is watching is another layer of armor. Every promise you honor to yourself, especially when it's small, especially when it's inconvenient, is another brick in the fortress you're building. Understand this. Toughness isn't built in the moments of applause. It's built in the silence, in the lonely morning runs, in the quiet no to distractions, in the 1,000 invisible choices that seem to mean nothing in the moment, but add up to everything in the end. Right now, today, choose one rep of toughness, just one. Don't wait for a perfect Monday. Don't save it for New Year's. Don't overthink it into oblivion. One representative, one act of controlled discomfort, one little decision that says, I don't bow to weakness anymore. It could be ending your shower cold. It could be putting the phone away when you want to scroll. It could be pushing out one more set when your muscles burn. It doesn't matter what it is. It matters that you win this rep, because one rep compounds. 1 rep turns into 2, 2 into 10, 10 into a lifestyle. And suddenly, the fortress isn't a dream. It's standing right in front of you, built by your own hands, stone by stone. So remember this truth. You were never weak. You were just unfinished, unsharpened, untested. And that's not an identity, that's an opportunity. And the second you decide to stop calling it weakness and start calling it training, everything shifts. Because you don't just have toughness, you build it. And today, you're already building. That's the truth. You're not weak, you're unfinished. And every day you show up, every rep of toughness you choose, you're turning that story around. So don't just leave this video fired up, leave it changed. Take one discomfort today. Build 1 brick today, and when tomorrow comes, do it again. Because greatness isn't built overnight, it's built daily. And your future self is counting on you to keep showing up. If this message hit you, drop a comment. I'm building. Let the world know you're locked in. And if you're ready for more raw motivation, subscribe and stay with me. Because this journey doesn't stop here. Until next time. Stay tough, stay disciplined, and keep building. Your fortress is waiting.